Okay, I know what you guys were thinking as soon as you read the title and saw this thumbnail.
You take me to him! Take me to the son of a bitch! Take me to him! Come on! Where's the son of a bitch? Where is he?
I can hear your anger and hostility already, don't worry.
You motherfucker!
Now before y'all track me down and beat the absolute shit out of me, please just hear me out. One thing I have to make clear from the get-go is, I do not think this is a bad movie. Not at all. I don't even think it's a bad Batman movie. I honestly think it's a solid film, so chill the fuck out. Back when I was in middle school, I loved the absolute shit out of this movie. For a while, I even liked it more than Mask the Phantasm. It was always in my top 3. My favorites used to go Dark Knight, Batman Begins, Batman 89. It really used to be in that order. Granted, it's changed pretty significantly, but it's how it used to be. I used to love this movie. I used to say it was the best of the first 4 films, and I used to say it was incredible. I loved it. And yeah, I do still like it. It's just that now I don't think it holds up. Keep in mind, that doesn't mean I think it's a bad movie. I actually still think it's quite good. I just don't think it's perfect or amazing or the fantastic Batman film that a lot of people make it out to be. In fact, I think it has some pretty major problems. That doesn't mean it's horrible, like I said, it has some big problems that not a lot of people talk about. And that's what I want to discuss in this video. Before I get into all those issues though, I think it's important to acknowledge that for all the things this film got wrong, it also got a lot right. For starters, Michael fucking Keaton is Batman. He is actually fantastic. I adore him in the role. He's so good, I legitimately considered going to watch Flash just for him. One of the things I love about his performance is, in this interpretation, Bruce Wayne's played as a legitimate weirdo, and it's something that most adaptations kind of forget about, with the exception of maybe Pattinson. Keaton really sold this kind of fucked up version of Bruce and made me think, yeah, that guy's Batman. I never once thought that's an actor playing Batman. I saw him and I was like, yeah, that's this version of Batman. He's by no means my favorite Batman, but he is definitely really good and unique. I also gotta give him credit for being the only Batman that can smile and still look intimidating. As Bruce Wayne, I also like him a lot. He's weird, but also tries. Like, you can see him trying to blend in with people, and he seems like a nice, charming guy, but at the same time, something's wrong with him. Something's kind of fucked up in his head, and you can kind of tell in his performance.
Open, what, 6? 6?
Yeah, 6 is good.
Okay, yeah. It's great, 6.
Made mistakes. And then he had his...
Right shot! Now you want to get nuts! Come on! Let's get nuts.
I think perhaps this way, sir.
Alfred, they need some more wine in the front room, and someone named Mrs. Daly needs a copy of the menu. Oh, and, give Knox $1,000.
I also like that his Bruce genuinely tries to have a life along with Batman. Like, he tries to balance himself being Batman and having a love life with Vicky Vale, and then eventually Selina Kyle. You can see a part of him wants to break free of Batman, but also doesn't at the same time because it's part of who he is. I also like how mysterious he is at times. He doesn't say much, but you can read a lot with his expressions. Yes, his Batman does kill, and I will get to that later. But continuing with the positives, Jack Nicholson's a lot of fun. His performance is iconic, and his Joker look is probably one of the best. He looks genuinely amazing. He's nowhere near my favorite adaptation of the character, but one element of his character I do love is the way he plans things out isn't really the way others do. He kind of just does things at random. One day he wants to poison Gotham, next he wants to kill Batman for taking away all of his attention, the next he wants to fuck Vicky Vale, and yeah, him wanting to hook up with Vicky Vale isn't my favorite aspect, which again, I'll get to later. But I do love that his plan is just kind of randomized. He has no clear, coherent plan, he just does whatever the fuck he wants. Whatever funny thing he thinks of that day is what he's gonna do. It's very Joker, and I like it a lot. It's an aspect of the character that I think a lot of adaptations forgotten, which is Joker just like wants to have fun. And he does definitely have fun in this movie. I also think the filmmaking is incredible. One of the best looking Batman films easily. The cinematography is genuinely fantastic. The editing, the pacing is genuinely fantastic. The fight scenes, yeah, they're not fantastic, but everything else about the filmmaking is incredible. The lighting, I love this look of Gotham City. It looks terrific. It's such a wonderful aesthetic and view on Gotham. It's one of my favorite looks in the cities. This, along with Reeves, it's just the best looks of Gotham. It looks distinctive. Like, I love the Dark Knight trilogy, but their take on Gotham is literally just Chicago, so I've never really gravitated that much towards it. We never really saw much of Snyder's Gotham. It was just kind of a city across the street from Metropolis, which was kind of silly, but whatever. It's honestly amazing to me this movie looks as good as it does, and honestly, I think what's crazy is this movie looks 10 times better than most comic book films that come out today, which is very, very funny. Yeah, fuck you, Ant-Man the Wasp: Quantumania. In general, I also like the characters in this movie. All the characters feel like they're real. They feel like real people in a fantastical kind of world. I love Alfred Gough as Alfred Pennyworth. He's terrific. Honestly, have we ever had a bad Alfred? I don't think we have. They're all pretty much great. It's the one thing that no one can ever fuck up. Alright, now it's time for me to bitch about the movie. Now, I just mentioned the film succeeds in a number of areas: acting, filmmaking, directing, editing, pacing, etc. So you might be wondering what the fundamental flaws are. What's left? Well, to be honest with you, there's only one major problem with this movie, and unfortunately it's kind of a thing that makes or breaks a movie. It's the writing. I'm sorry, but upon rewatch, the story for this movie is so fucking mediocre. It's not horrible, it's just mediocre. Like, it's fine, it's not the worst Batman story ever, it's also not that great of one. It's so shallow, and it's not even really the script's fault. The movie had a lot of rewrites from what I understand, and the original script by Sam Hamm is actually really freaking good. There's a few problems I still have there, but overall, it's still a pretty solid Batman script, and unfortunately, while the story there is generally similar, there's a lot of big changes they made in the final film, and the changes were absolutely atrocious. I'm not gonna act like Sam Hamm's script was a gift from God or anything. It wasn't a perfect Batman script either, but it was pretty good and much better than what we actually got in the movie, which just frustrates me. I'm gonna get more into Sam Hamm's script later though, because I have a lot to say about it.
Excuse me. Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? Kill you.
Story structure and payoff. Boy, oh boy, where do I even begin with this one? I'm not joking, I think this is the only thing in the film that I would genuinely say is terrible. The structure of this story is so all over the place, it's actually fascinating. This film is called Batman, but Batman is not the main character. He's a side character in his own fucking movie. Which is a shame because I really like Michael Keaton in the role, but this movie is barely about Batman. And you know what? I don't think it's a Joker movie either. It's a Vicky Vale movie. No, really, think about it. Everything that happens to this film is explored through her eyes. She comes in the crosshairs of these two psychos as they try to kill each other throughout the movie. We discover Batman's origin through her eyes in the third act and spend the first two acts trying to uncover the mystery of Batman through her eyes. Yes, we get a lot of scenes that aren't through her eyes and a lot of scenes with Batman characterizing him visually, but dare I say that's not enough. We don't get enough of those scenes. It feels like the movie's changing perspectives constantly. 1 second Batman's the main character, next second Vicky Vale's next character, and for 5 minutes Joker's the main character doing some crazy shit. It's all over the place narratively. This is a problem that a lot of Batman movies have, which is they don't put enough emphasis on Batman, just his villains and his side characters. I've even seen a lot of people argue that Dark Knight has this issue, and while I agree to a small extent, at least in Dark Knight, we had already established that version of Batman. It was the second movie. We had seen Batman's origin by that point. We knew what his goal was. It wasn't the first movie in the trilogy, it was the second. We knew what that version was about. We had already grown and connected with that version of Batman. And when some attention was admittedly taken away from him, it did suck, but it was at least somewhat bearable because we knew that version of Batman already. In the case of Batman 89, this is the first movie in the quadrilogy. What the fuck? Why? I love the idea of starting the movie with the character already in their state as the hero. Like, that idea works fine. But early on, you have to give some character. The Batman had Bruce Wayne start out as Batman too, and it worked out very well. But they also established early on what his motive was and what his goal was. The first fucking thing Batman says in the movie established his goal.
I wish I could say I'm making a difference. But I don't know. Murder, robberies, assault. 2 years later, they're all up. And now this. The city's eating itself. Maybe it's beyond saving. But I have to try.
We don't have enough time connecting to this version of Bruce. We don't even know what he wants. What is his goal besides killing Joker? Is his goal from the beginning to find the guy who killed his parents? If that's the case, why is he bothering with random villains that he know didn't kill his parents? He never once asked them, who killed the Waynes? He never once even really investigates it. Again, everything regarding his parents and their death and their killer came out of nowhere, which I will get to in like 5 minutes, don't worry. If you want his origin to occur later on in the movie, fine, but at least establish whatever his goal is and have some more setup than this scene. Don't get me wrong, I love it, but we need more than that. At one point in the movie, Bruce states,
Sometimes I don't know what to think about this. It's just something I have to do.
Why?
Because nobody else can.
That's a great dramatic scene and all, but why? Why is Bruce the only one that can do this? Who trained him? Was he trained in the military? Is he an assassin? Did Alfred the butler train him? Why Bruce? Why is he the one that has to do this?
What made to you so special?
What is Batman's goal? What does he want? I don't know. The movie never really establishes it. The only thing we get is he wants to get his parents' killer, which would be fine if his motivation was established from the beginning. Up until the third act, I have no idea what the fuck this madman wants. He feels very one-dimensional, and for your supposed protagonist, that's not good. And I think this is a good time to point out that, I know I said I'd get into this later, but I gotta quickly go back to it now. In Sam Hamm's original script, we got a lot more in terms of Batman's psyche. It was actually a pretty good deep dive into Batman, and I really wish they kept some of the stuff with Sam Hamm, especially the third act stuff that Sam Hamm wrote. That shit fucking rocked, and I can't believe they cut as much of it out as they did. Batman here has no real arc, and that would be fine if they had a character for him, but they don't. I mean, again, I love Keaton's portrayal, and I think he works really well, and I love a lot of his mannerisms, but a lot of it was really just brought on by Keaton. The actual character doesn't have much to do in this movie, and they don't put as much emphasis on him as they should. This is fucking Batman, not Vicky Vale, Batman. Why do I know more about Alexander Knox and Vicky Vale than Batman? The fucking Batman. They need to put more emphasis on their main character. I don't know why they structured it to have Batman be this mystery in the background when he's the main character. We do get a lot of scenes, but it feels like someone's fighting to get him in the background, and I don't know who it is and why they're doing it, but holy shit, whoever you are, fuck off. It feels like Batman, Joker, and Vicky Vale are fighting for attention in this movie, and it's just really strange. The story is structured in such a way to where I can't even figure out who the protagonist was. Was it Batman, Joker, Vicky Vale? I have no idea. You can make a case for all of them, to be honest with you. Sam Hamm's original script was very much a Batman story. It was about Batman's psyche, how he thinks, how he operates. If you want to go read it, you can find it fairly easily online, but it's a really great script. It's not perfect. It has some of the same issues that I've outlined in this video, but not many of them. Bruce's psyche and how he thinks and operates is dived into a lot more in that version, and I really like it. It's a great Batman story. And I don't know why Bruce's arc from that story was not kept in this treatment of the film. It is a very bizarre decision. And the finale with Joker and Batman is a lot better in Sam Hamm's script than it is in this movie. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just a shill for Sam Hamm. The structure of the story makes it so that a lot of payoffs don't work as well. For example, the devil in the pale moonlight line revealing Bruce's killer to him is atrocious. I'm sorry to say, it's awful. Now, to be clear, I don't actually have a problem with Joker killing Batman's parents. I really don't. In this interpretation, I can work with it. Adaptations make changes all the time. I think that's fine. I'm not that mad about it. The idea that Batman and Joker ironically create each other is kind of interesting and fascinating. However, it's never explored with any nuance, and the way it's revealed is just so cheap. It feels like they made it up on the spot. The devil in the pale moonlight line that Joker claims he says to all his prey is a straight up lie. He didn't say it to this guy, or to this guy, or to this guy, or at any point in the movie until it was convenient. In fact, he didn't even say it to the Waynes. He said it to Bruce Wayne twice in the span of like 20 years. How convenient. There is no setup for this. It just kind of comes out of nowhere. It feels like really shitty improv.
A lot of this movie comes from just moments of improvisational inspiration right there. Some before, or overnight, or as you went. Some actually while you're doing it.
Yeah, no shit. The entire third act seems like it was improv'd. I'm not kidding. Everything regarding the reveal of Bruce Wayne's parents comes out of nowhere. Out of nowhere, it's revealed that the line,
You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
means something to Bruce, and then out of nowhere, it's revealed Bruce Wayne's parents were murdered when he was a kid, and that's why he's Batman. And oh no, the Joker must be the one that did it. All at once, in one scene, we discover Bruce Wayne's parents were killed. There's been a mystery about it this entire time, and Bruce Wayne just found out the mystery, and it was Joker. That's in-fucking-sane. That writing is genuinely awful. I'm sorry, there's no easy way to say it. That's shit. What the actual fuck? I know that everyone loves this movie, and this scene is really iconic, but honestly, this scene onward is where the movie really starts to lose me. Which is a shame, because even though I criticize the structure of the entire movie, I do really dig the first two acts of the film. However, as soon as this scene comes up, here on out, the movie, while it's still enjoyable, really loses me. There aren't enough words to convey how much I fucking hate this scene. I can't stand it. It is absolute shit. Everything about it. Bruce's very convenient and stupid decision to put a platter under his suit, hoping Joker doesn't shoot him in the face. The awful, downright shit reveal of Bruce's parents, how they were killed, and their killer. It is so amateur and legitimately feels like it came out of nowhere. Dare I say, it feels rushed. Apparently Sam Hamm didn't actually want Joker to kill Batman's parents, and watching the movie, you can tell that this wasn't in Sam Hamm's script, and it's really frustrating.
I plead innocent. Didn't do it. I did not have the Joker being the murderer of Batman's parents. That was something that Tim had wanted, from early on, and I had a bunch of arguments with him and wound up, talking him out of it for as long as I was on the script.
It's so easy to tell. We're getting a payoff to a mystery we never even knew was given to us. Answers to a question the film never presented. Had the film been presenting the question throughout, and at the same time had Jack Nicholson saying that line to people he killed, then it would have presented the mystery much better and at least had the payoff be earned. But instead, they went with this very sloppy, terrible reveal that makes the payoff very unearned and just kind of come out of nowhere. Here's a way to fix it. What if instead, from the get-go, you have Batman be aware that Joker killed his parents and make the movie about whether or not Batman should kill Joker? Or, and I'm just spitballing here, you keep it like it is, have Batman not be aware, and throughout the film, have Joker constantly ask his prey the question about the devil in the pale moonlight, and then Bruce hears it and he realizes. Hell, from the get-go, you can have the flashback be the opening scene, and then throughout the film, have Joker say it, make the audience realize that Joker killed Batman's parents, and try to make the audience want Bruce to find out that Joker killed his parents. There's a lot of things you could do here. You could discuss the morality of what Bruce should do, you can make the audience aware and make them want Bruce to find out, or you can do the opposite and leave the audience in the dark. There's a lot of ways you could do this mystery and make it work, and the film took the worst option, and I still to this day will never understand why. I don't know why it was written like this, and I don't know why it's so sloppy, but it is, and it's terrible. And all of that leads us to the third act. I'll say the third act of this film is fairly entertaining and a lot of fun, but gosh, the film kinda took a dump in quality here. Again, I really dig the first two acts, but this scene onward and a lot of the third act really lost me in a lot of places. On a positive note, I think the tower change, even though it was definitely really shitty improv, it legitimately was a good location to end on. It's iconic and it's a really cool looking scene. Man, the change from Sam Hamm's script is so hilariously drastic because his original ending is so much better. I will never understand why they changed the third act so much because they really just made it a lot worse than it needed to be.
Halfway through shooting, Jack and John Peters go to see the Phantom of the Opera. And at the end of Phantom of the Opera, there's a scene where she goes up to the tower. I don't know how the story went, if John turned to Jack, Jack turned to John, but said, this is what we need. And the next day, they started writing that scene, the whole ending in the tower.
To quickly sum it up, in Sam Hamm's original script, Batman didn't kill people, and him and Joker had a fight, Joker found out who he is and made jokes, and Batman pulled him in, smiled, and had a grenade or a bomb that had timer on it and scared the shit out of Joker, and basically he's questioning whether or not he should actually let himself die with Joker because he blames himself for Joker's creation. And at the end of the day, Joker doesn't actually die, and neither does Batman. Joker ends up falling, but I'm pretty sure he didn't die. At least that's the implication I got from the script. I could be wrong, but I know he falls. I don't think he died, but he does fall. Batman lives. Joker, I'm pretty sure, lives. Joker did not kill Batman's parents, so all this stuff with revenge is not in Sam Hamm's script. It's stuff that Tim Burton just kind of did. All of this just feels so unnecessary. It feels out of nowhere, and I don't understand it. Like, I will say, the parade scene, it's pretty fun. I like it. It's funny. It's entertaining. The location change to the tower is fine, even if it's a really weird change and kind of seems unprofessional, sure. Fine change, cool setup, I like the way it looks. But the actual finale here is such a weird change, and Sam Hamm's was so much better. Here, it's just Batman wants to kill Joker, and to be honest with you, Batman killing kind of comes out of nowhere in this movie. In the first 2 acts, Batman doesn't kill anyone, and then all of a sudden, in Act 3, he starts killing people. I have no idea what happened. I think the implication that Burton was trying to give off is that in his version, Batman snapped right here and started killing people, got a taste for it, and then in returns had to deal with it and ended up killing a ton of criminals until the end of that movie when he realized he was wrong, which isn't a terrible idea if it was executed better, which has a lot to do with this film. I wish they made it clear whether or not Batman actually had a code at the beginning of this film. But then again, you would actually have to give Batman a bit of a deep dive in order to do that. Again, I really like the idea that Batman and Joker both indirectly create each other. I just wish it was handled differently. I do like the actual confrontation between the two. It's fairly entertaining. It works well. It's fun, I guess. Again, the main problem just lies in the fact that everything regarding Batman's new goal and his new motivation just came so out of left field. His motivation, his origin, it needed to be established sooner so that this payoff could mean something. Because everything about Batman's origin was revealed last minute, the third act just feels rushed. It feels like they were rushing to get to this point because, again, they didn't set it up properly, and the payoff just kind of fell out of place. And this kind of leads me to another fundamental problem I have with the movie, which is weird because it was also praise I had with it, and that's Joker.
Me?
Look, I love Jack Nicholson in the role. I really do, but it could have been better, character-wise. He's fine and he works well enough for this movie, but in some areas I think it could have been better. For starters, his relationship with Batman, his fucked up relationship, I think should have been explored a little bit more. Here's an idea that was just kind of a missed opportunity. What if in this movie, Joker was trying to break Batman and trying to get him to break his code, and then at the end, Batman decided to do it because Joker killed his parents, and you have him kill Joker, and Joker dies never knowing what he did to make Batman snap, but knowing that he somehow did. That way you get a bittersweet ending, an ending that can make audiences think, and also a questionable ending on whether or not Joker actually won, and kind of a tragic way in the sense that Joker died, still not knowing what he did to make Batman snap, but at the same time content because he somehow did. That would have been an interesting way to go about it, and it would have worked a lot better. But instead, in this movie, Joker's just kind of a one-dimensional narcissist who wants to kill Batman because he steals all of his attention and stops him from poisoning people, and then wants to fuck Vicky Vale. That's pretty much all he is. There's nothing deeper or more interesting about him, which, for the Joker, is kind of a shame. I expect more. I know it was 1989 and Joker wasn't exactly mainstream yet, but I don't know, by that point we had comics establishing it. I don't know, just it feels like more could have been done. And having Joker just be a narcissistic little asshole douchebag maybe wasn't the way to go. I mean, don't get me wrong, Joker's always been a bit of a narcissist at heart, but you could do more with it. Oh, and also just want to say, if you were going to give the origin to anyone, why would it not be Batman? Why does this movie have more attention given to Joker and not Batman? I will never understand it. Why they give the guy that no one wanted to see an origin to the origin is beyond me. I personally don't give a flying fuck about how Joker became Joker. I never really have. I don't know why this film puts so much more emphasis on Joker's origin than Batman's, but that was a really silly choice. Like I said before though, I do love Joker's design, and I love how randomized his plans are, how he just kind of does things at random because he can. And I also love Jack Nicholson's performance. And I'm not saying Joker's a bad villain, he's just a one-dimensional one that I think could have been better. Like I said, there's easy ways to improve the script had they given it more time and maybe stopped improvising so terribly. I think my biggest problem with Joker is just his thing for Vicky Vale. It didn't need to be there.
About to get a new girl, Bobby. I'm of a mind to make some mookie. Phone book? Yes, sir.
It did affect the plot, it's just that it's very silly. I really do not like that he wants to fuck Vicky Vale. It's a really strange story choice to have Joker go after the girl that Batman loves and, like, try to bone her. It's just not my favorite, especially for Joker of all people. And there they are, the fundamental flaws of Batman 89. At the end of the day, make no mistake, I don't hate this movie. I think it's a lot of fun to watch, and I really enjoy the first hour of it. But the last third, man, it really, really loses me. It is still fairly enjoyable, though. Even though I criticize this film fairly heavily, understand, I do genuinely like the movie. It isn't anywhere near my favorite, but it is a lot of fun, and it's important to acknowledge the cultural influence of it. Even if I don't think it holds up from a character or writing perspective, I do still think it's a fun film to watch, and it's definitely responsible for a lot of the great Batman content we do have. Without this movie, the animated series would not exist, the Arkham games wouldn't exist, the Dark Knight trilogy wouldn't exist, my favorite Batman film of all time wouldn't exist. For all its faults, this movie established the perfect tone of Batman. And I gotta give it credit for that. It has a great look for Gotham, and it established how Batman should be, for the most part. It's no question that this film really influenced the comic book genre and Batman films forever. You really gotta have huge respect for it, and I am definitely grateful that we got this film and we got Burton's vision. It isn't necessarily completely for me. Like I said, I have pretty major issues with this film, and there's a lot of areas I think could have been improved, but I am still grateful for it. It led to my actual favorite Batman stories. And for the most part, this was still okay. Like, this was still pretty solid. If I were to rate this movie, I'd probably give it like a 7 out of 10, maybe a 6.5, 7 out of 10, something like that. And that's pretty good for the time. Keaton's performance as Batman is wonderful and iconic. The directing is fantastic. The acting is fantastic. Editing is fantastic. The pacing is, for the most part, pretty solid. The action is passable. The aesthetic is amazing. The Batmobile is the definitive Batmobile. The Danny Elfman Batman theme is the definitive Batman theme. Whenever I think of Batman, I hear that theme in my head. So yeah, the movie doesn't hold up the way I wish it did, but it doesn't mean I can't still appreciate it. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this video. Real quickly, I just wanted to address a few things. Number one, I've been away for a while. There's no real big reason I'm going to get into. It's honestly just because life sucks. Life really just kind of kicked me in the ass in like the month of June. I was originally going to have my Amazing Spider-Man video out in May, I think, but you know, it didn't work out. The video is still happening. I'm still working very hard on it, but I'm just taking my time with it. And while I'll be honest, there's no way I'm gonna get it out by the end of July. It's just not feasible. Even August is a maybe. I'm hoping to get it out by the end of August, maybe September, but it's really difficult. Movavi Clips, which is what I use to edit videos, has been a real pain in the ass, to the point where I can't release my Flash video that I made. I made a video discussing why I wasn't going to go see Flash, and I made it really quickly, too. I made it in like 2 days, and I'm fairly proud of it. I think it's a very funny, entertaining video that I'm kind of proud of, and I thought you'd all enjoy, but Movavi Clips decided to kick me in the balls, and unsync my voice with the clips so that it's all out of order and very obvious and very shitty. And I tried to fix it, and then Movavi Clips just zoned out and didn't like save anything, to the point where I had to fiddle with it a lot. I had to go through and delete a lot of files. It's a very long, complicated process. I essentially had to get rid of everything in there to clear out a bunch of stuff. It was a mess to deal with, but I've got stuff back on track now, hopefully. The Amazing Spider-Man video is still coming. It's just taken a while, you know. I want this to be my best video, and so far it is. I'm very proud of it, but there's a few things I gotta go back and tweak, and a few editing things I have to fix. I'm really very passionate about this video, and I want it to be amazing. So I'm taking my time with it, and while I am, I decided to take a break and talk about Batman 89 because last night I watched it again for the first time in several years, and I have a lot to say about it, obviously, as you saw. I don't think it holds up as well, so it's what I wanted to talk about. And I thought at least maybe I can get one video out for you guys in this month. I also have a job, and I'm working almost like every day, so that takes up a lot of time. So yeah, that's my excuse for not having videos out in a while. So hopefully this will do. I'm hoping my next video will be the Amazing Spider-Man 1, though. I don't know. There might be another filler video before I get to that. We'll see how it goes. But right now, I hope you guys enjoyed this. So you know that I'm not dead. I'm still alive. So yeah, I will see you all around.